It is time for another sprint zone, 719. Getting this one out a little bit late because I've been busy racing over the weekend, etc. But let's get the show on the road. Pushing some decent wattage here behind the big men. Got guest attendee Alfred, who had attended many, many years ago but comes back to the fold once in a while. Looking behind, we got Rob Baum, who's really coming along, and we shall make note of his jersey this week. It's got the much tighter fitting jersey, looking strong, the arm protectors. Well done, Rob. We just need to work on that whole visor thing. Looking at the pedaling style here, and I'm going to make some comments here about drafting. I think Scott's a little too close. And the reason I say that is if you watch, Rob needs to keep pedaling. Nice cadence. But if you have to like pedal, 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 coast, pedal, 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 coast, I think you're too close. And it's actually up to the rider who's a little bit ahead to drift back. Your handlebars are supposed to be parallel so that when you bump that there's not an issue. And if you're doing this half wheeling, half handlebarring crap, um, I just don't like it. From a pedantic, standpoint, it's safer not to have that Z looking horribleness. But I digress. So Byron on the good bike, and those guys did a lot of work. And let's take a look at Byron's jersey. I don't know who his fitter is. Maybe he'll make a comment here, but that thing fits like a skin suit. He has gone from the gravel bike to now this thing, and he is a force to be reckoned with here. In fact, I'm going to make a statement here, and it might be a cocky one. I think the TTH boys are probably happy that Byron ain't there, hurting them boys. Anyway, looking back, we got Hernan looking strong, looking how fit he looks this year. Scott looking good. We got Curtis back there, and Rob starts to slide back. And here's Alfred. So typically, the sprint doesn't start till after the corners, and we don't go too hard. And it's been kind of precedent so that folks don't hurt themselves crashing or whatever, because it's more fun to ride some off the wheel. But Alfred's going pretty hard here. I'm more or less kind of okay with it, but look at the wattage I'm pushing just to stay with him. Mid 240, whatever. And that's sitting in. So Homeboy's going hard. And you can see where it caused a little bit of a gap because Byron had not made that acceleration, and his modus operandi is to bring as many people up as possible. And when you have supers in the group, from Krypton or whatever, it totally colors things, and he is able to smooth out the ride, sort of like a capacitor for you EE people, and not have people blowing up, burning lots of matches. And as you can see here, there's a little bit of a gap. If it were not for Byron, I'm not certain who back there would be willing to take up the charge. Maybe JC, Matthew Michaels, if they were there. We'll find out later. But you can see here that this could be game over if there were strong, strong people up front willing to work. I'm not willing to work that hard this early. I just got done racing over the weekend previous, and even though it was a short race, it takes a little bit of something out of you, and I'm just not willing to do that. So I kind of let Alfred go here. I'm thinking, okay, we're doing 26 miles an hour into this corner. If this is what you need to do to get an advantage, that's okay. But I know we got Byron back here coming hard. Nobody needs to chase anybody off the front unless it's Tyler or somebody. So James Stevens, and it looks like Justin decided this may be too much of a gap or they like the chase. Nice corner, going there at 28 miles an hour, faster than normal. We could go harder, and I'm surprised and happy that everybody's actually like there. Clearly, they have been practicing their cornering or they're getting used to this. We may have to rescind the neutral zone, but for now, we'll just keep it the way it is. So I take my time and I bring back the big men, and it is Grupo Compacto all over. Nice that Justin points out that little hole. It's been filled. Excellent. I'm glad people are on the work. So I don't know how many of you people watch this thing on the big screen. I don't watch the sprint zones or anything on my phone because I'm old and I want to see fidelity. but you guys probably can't see the flapping of Justin's jersey right behind his helmet. You know, Justin could actually be wearing a race cut, and it's probably not a lot of wattage, but it should just be noted. And if you remember earlier and you could see what Byron was wearing, hello, nice and tight. So that would probably get you about 3 or 4 watts. Not that you need it, Justin, but I digress. So I'm in fourth position, looking good. The draft isn't great up there, but it's not bad. Looking rearward, Hernan looking super strong. He is going to be my pick one of these days to be one of the big GC men. Like, Scott makes that little swerve over, and I'm not certain why he did it. And you see Hernan throw his hand up like, W2F, dude, come on now. This is shite. And we really do need to be riding and being cognizant that there are other riders around. No need to swerve around stuff unless it's going to cause a crash or whatever. Keep that line straight. And you see how smooth the big men are up front here. James Stevens, Justin, Alfred, strong men riding, and there's none of that weaving stuff. Looks like a little bit of a gap being opened up between Hernan and them. That could have been game over, but it's not because there's some slowdowns up there. Nice little surges. And me sitting in, I am pushing some good wattage here. 23 miles an hour, not much wind, perfect conditions, and everybody's in tow. And we can thank Byron for that one. Otherwise, I'm certain folks would have tried to jump across. Now, it's kind of dangerous to have James Stevens and Alfred and Justin up in the front. Super strong men, and Justin has really come into his own this year. Doing all the war and the SOAR and the TTH rides have made him a formidable component. And you can see how he is so comfortable here. There's no stress on his legs. You can see he's just easily spinning here, sitting in, just a walk in the park. Alfred, of course, a smart racer, staying close to the front, and James Stevens, no stranger to work. I'm not certain why he didn't make the TTH today, but maybe it's because our group's just a little more fun. I would like to think so. Or he just likes the camera time, which is also good. So Justin goes super hard here, making the attack on the little grade. This is where most of the selections are made here. And I am straining to try to like cover on this one. So this is where I have technical difficulties. This is the first time this camera has like failed, and its gyro like didn't know how to handle this. I tried to correct it as best I could, but it is interesting. Anyway, I more or less kind of covered this move slowly, and unfortunately, I took a lot of wind on that one, so that was kind of challenging. Yeah, you can see where the camera is just effing up. I'm thinking to myself, and this is the first time it's done that, like, WTF? I spent a little bit of time trying to get this edit right, but not good. Regardless, you can see most of the selection is here at this point. That little acceleration shelled anybody who didn't deserve to be there. Well done, Justin. Nice job as he slots back, looking through the pack. Nice blue skies there, and we can see, and even Carl there in the blue. I didn't recognize Carl at first because he's not in his team kit. Very, very stealthy to be in a different kit. I can see why the UCI dictates that you wear the team colors so that you know who's what, where, and why. Regardless, there are strong men back there. And here we go. Byron in the skin suit fitting kit, coming to the front with ease, just strolling up there, bringing anybody who is fit to follow. And Alfred, of course, is that gentleman. And you can see there are many, many, many men in the back that could have followed, but the draft is better back in the back. Slight little echelon as we follow the man from Krypton, getting a good look at that skin suit on that bike. Alfred quick to follow also, and here we go. JC makes a little move off the front. That's John Kraft, in case you don't know my acronyms. In any case, life is good. And at this point, yours truly is pretty much shelved. Yeah, I just didn't have it that day. I wish I would have had my heart rate. But as we watch the group just going off the front, Hernan was looking strong and has made this selection one of the few times he's made it and I haven't. So I think he has officially arrived in the GC mix. So looking around at the scenery, this is what happens when you are OTB. You kind of look around and look at things that you normally haven't seen. Behind me, I'm in no man's land. Yeah, no man's land. And so I'm so far back here, let's not spend a lot of time having me look at the cows, But let's just kind of fast forward through some of this if we can and get up the road a little bit. They're still ahead. Still, like, I'm no man's land. Still, I'm way back here. And finally, I crest the hill. A good time was had by all. I can definitely say that the inclusion of supers in the group, that would be Byron, etc., have made a big difference, as people have to rely on his strength or his whimsy to pull people back. So we'll get a look here at those that made the cut that I didn't. Well done, folks. Well done. I'll just get a snapshot right here. There we go. Looking good. Well done, everybody. Until next time, peace out and enjoy your viewing.